Welcome to the Tripod Sports Podcast. I am Catman. Oh, there we go. And with me are Chappers. Wow. And Mumquist. Off to a blazing fucking start this evening. Castle's not joining us this week. He is actually going to a concert in Austin, Texas to see Post Malone. I'm very jealous. So we're going to push on in his stead and see what happens because, as Chappers likes to say when Castle's not around, boss is out of the office, we can pretty much do whatever we want.
I'm
So-
definitely not wearing pants.
Yeah, no, I don't have any clothes on.
I didn't even bother to crack my beer on time.
I know. You're not even being punctual with your beer cracking. So we'll start with a look back. It's going to be probably like when Chappers and I record without Castle normally, pretty laid back. We'll just talk about the stuff that we find interesting and probably go off on tangents. So we'll start with a look back and we'll hit on it because we have to. NASCAR Elimination Sunday in Kansas, which is always one of my favorite Sundays in NASCAR, because Kansas is fun to begin with, and then you get guys that have to get above the points line, and it gets pretty interesting. So a lot of big wrecks. Matt Kenseth being finished off early. We don't know what his future holds, and also, a really big surprise was Kyle Larson being eliminated because his car exploded, which sucks for him. Because
Is that why people watch the sport?
Yeah, it is. But like, this guy was probably a front runner the rest of the way because he's so good at the tracks that were coming up. So for him to go down this way, it kind of sucks for him, but whatever. It's fucking NASCAR. That's what happens. Sometimes cars explode. Anybody? Chappers?
You don't have your NASCAR buddy with you today.
I know, so you don't care. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find a video of this car exploding because, I mean...
Well, literally just the engine exploded, so it's not like the car's in flames. Like, he's just driving a smoking, heaping wreck. But, okay.
So it's not even that cool.
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh.
Next, the Eagles are the real deal. They have the best record in football. Carson Wentz is good at football. The city of Philadelphia is drinking its fucking nuts off. And I would imagine domestic abuse rates have skyrocketed.
Or have dropped dramatically.
Or have dropped. Yeah, I guess it could go both ways.
I'm inclined to think that they're going to go hard no matter which way, winning or losing.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty nuts. Go ahead. Someone else talk.
Yeah, you think it would be like, it wouldn't really affect the drinking rate, but it would affect the spousal abuse rate.
Right.
Because, like, you're now drinking because you're joyous rather than drinking because you're miserable.
Right. And you just love Carson Wentz so much.
There's plenty of time for them to fuck it up. Remember, they lost two of their best players last night.
Yeah,
so.
Hicks and who was the other one? Peters.
Jason Peters.
Yeah. So
one of the best in the game. So.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
Plus, it looks like the Cowboys are starting to pick up steam. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Marshawn Lynch's suspension was upheld following his scuffle with what appeared, with the referees, and we still really don't know what the hell was going on. Apparently, he was going to defend Marcus Peters, who's his cousin, against his own players, which sounds like a perfectly normal Marshawn Lynch thing to do. He had his hearing this week. Marcus Peters apparently testified on his behalf. And they upheld the suspension, which really not surprising, I don't think.
Yeah, no. You can't run out onto the field and then push a ref. Like, you're gonna get suspended for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't hockey.
Right. And another big shocker of this weekend, Vontez Burfict fucking kicked a guy. and didn't get suspended.
How is he not suspended?
I don't know. I don't know if he's lowered the bar so much for his expectation of behavior that this is just well, at least he didn't, crush a guy coming across the field and break somebody's neck. So,
but he's got that repeater status though. He's the new Ndamukong Suh. Have they fined him yet? Maybe they just haven't decided.
Didn't even see that. I mean, they haven't suspended him yet.
Maybe they just haven't done anything about it yet.
Trying to think of other stuff. Jay Cutler cracked some ribs, right? So he's not playing right now.
I don't think that's going to hurt the Dolphins a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's playing hot garbage, and Matt Moore isn't that terrible.
No. Any other big storylines from the weekend for the NFL? I mean, obviously we're going to talk about it going forward, but anything else of note?
Not until my surprise 0-16 watch.
Well, yeah.
So, do you want me to do it right now?
No. We'll talk because it's a storyline moving forward. So we can. I think that's something we really need to devote some time to. It's very important to all of us. It holds a place near and dear to our hearts. So I think we should give it the adequate amount of time. Finally, then this is going to be a lead into our first story, especially because we have Mumquist on the episode, and him and I could talk college football for probably 5 hours.
All day.
Yeah. Penn State kicked the living shit out of Michigan, which was lovely to see John Harbaugh just throw fits like a fucking toddler. I love that. The guy has no fucking composure. It's absolutely hysterical. And, Penn State's really good.
Yep.
Another whiteout victory for them, so that's pretty neat. Go on, Mumquist. I can hear you.
I couldn't help but laugh at the fucking telecasters when they're talking about whiteouts. They look really good. Teams that do blackouts should really think about the national image when we have to show the pictures from the blimp. I'm like, really?
Oh, Jesus.
You
That's
think what we're going with?
Anybody fucking cares?
Yeah.
Okay. But you know what?
It also
Kudos
sounds really bad, too.
Yeah. It's a less desirable image than white.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like you're screwed one way or the other. You're either blacking it out or you're whitewashing it. So
yeah.
I don't really feel like you're going to win either way.
Yeah. Texas loses another close one to Oklahoma State, which sucks. I certainly don't want Tom Herman to not do well.
He's got time.
He does, and that's the big thing that I think really needs to be understood is I don't think 3-4 really adequately represents the strides that team has made between going to a new coach, a new system, a completely new staff, and they have been involved in games that people probably wouldn't have expected them to be.
Yeah, I mean, USC, they lost by 3 points. Oklahoma, they lost by 5 points. And Oklahoma State, they lost by 3 points.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those games, if they had gone on for another minute, 2 minutes, those would be wins.
Right. And you can already kind of see the quarterback development, I think, that's going to happen there with Tom Herman. He tends to get really good quarterbacks, so that's only going to be more helpful.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting conversation going forward between Buechele and Ellinger.
I'd go with fucking Ellinger.
Yeah, I don't really see Buechele getting a chance unless Ellinger gets hurt, but I mean it's always
he's in concussion protocol.
Yeah,
but I still think moving forward he's your guy. And the last thing that I tagged as far as sort of storylines from the weekend is apparently Notre Dame's a thing all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, they are, but why?
I mean, I think there's a lot to take away from it. USC is just not as good as people think they are. I think that's part of it. They're not as good as they were supposed to be. So yeah.
I think that's most of it actually.
Yeah, that probably is true.
And they
So
were
I'm sure
playing
Notre
at
Dame.
home too. Like you're supposed to play well at home.
Right.
What, 49-14's not playing well?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for Michigan. I
Right.
mean, Penn State's win looks really good, but I mean, when you look at Michigan's record, like who have they beat?
Who have they fucking played?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
the only ranked team that they've played and beat was Florida. That was opening weekend.
And Florida's sucks.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
congratulations. The biggest win margin was against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Like, kudos, guys.
So we'll just use that to sort of launch into storylines for college football going into this weekend because, yeah, it's kind of a big one. I mean, it's obviously really big for me. As an Ohio State fan, it's kind of like the biggest weekend.
You gonna be all right?
No, I'm going to be there in person, so I don't know how I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't.
What kind of medications can you take to, like, lower your blood pressure?
I think more like anti-anxiety. Like if I could get some like Xanax or something before I go, I don't think that would be the worst idea in the whole world. I'll just have to self-medicate with other depressants, I suppose.
I'll be praying for you.
Yeah.
Dude, at least I'll be in a stadium of my own people. So like, that's the only like saving grace.
Do you think Penn State will travel well? You think they're gonna pull up?
Sure,
to
they
the,
will,
They're gonna
but
pull up to the shoe in their Astro vans.
yeah, they're white Astrovans. I'd imagine with candy, all sorts of good stuff. I'm sure they'll travel well, but I don't think it's gonna matter as far as like having an actual presence in that stadium because there's gonna be too many Ohio State fans. I mean, it's gonna be a lot.
I don't think it's especially a factor. I just wanted to find a way to get the
For
Astro
child
van.
molestation.
Heyo.
We got a shower in the back of the van. So obviously that's a really big game. And something that I've sort of been thinking about a lot, and I've been watching Penn State more and more throughout the year just to like sort of build up and like, you know, because I'm an armchair coach in general.
Run it up the
So,
gut.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm interested in what your guys' takes are. If you're Ohio State, how the fuck do you play defense? What do you do? Because I have my own theory, and I want to see if anything that I've been thinking is like at all legitimate.
Stop Saquon.
How do you do that though? Right? Like that's
Awesome
what
game plan, coach.
Yeah. Like
Why didn't anyone else think of that?
that's how I feel so much sometimes.
Like they haven't stopped him not because they don't have a decent scheme. It's because he's really fucking good.
Right,
Players,
but
not
like,
plays, dog.
so here's my
Tanya
theory.
Harding his ass.
Here's my theory. Tell me if it makes any sense. I think
Tanya
honestly,
Harding might.
yeah, that's
might
not
help.
bad. Well, maybe we could get like Maurice Claret in town for the weekend or something. So I'm almost like fully committed to just over committing to the run.
Yeah.
And like accepting whatever happens because McSorley's really good. But I think like you have to take your front seven and you need to get into the backfield on like every play. And, you know, if their receiver is going to beat you on a slant route and you play man and your guy can't make the tackle, like that's on Ohio State's secondary. But I think you need to like load them up at the line and like let them fly and throw as many blitz looks as you possibly can.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your matchups looking like on the receivers?
I mean, we have Denzel Ward, who's good. The rest of our secondary is shaky at best. And I don't really know enough about Penn State's wide receivers. I think it's less about their wide receivers and more about McSorley getting them the ball because they seem to catch it when he throws it to them.
Yeah, well, that's because I mean, if you put all of your eggs in the run basket and try to shut it down, all they're gonna do is start pitching it out to the outside and running it up, and
Right.
you're not gonna.
I'm
able to stop it.
okay. Yeah.
And the other thing with that too is you have to be able to switch it up. I mean, trying to cover zero isn't a bad idea every once in a while. But there are two issues with that. One is if you miss a tackle, even if they run it, if you miss a tackle, there's not a safety to stop it. So if everyone's penetrating into the backfield and he makes somebody miss, he's gonna score. And the other thing is they can use Saquon Barkley in the passing game and run a screen against that an all-out blitz, and he's gone. Yep. So you have to be able to keep the off balance. You can't just do one thing the entire game.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I just am terrified. I don't I used to like watching Saquon Barkley play, and I used to be like, wow. In the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been like, fuck.
I think if you go in strong with the run defense, and the first time that they try to commit to a passing play, if you're able to shut them down and get them to think that, hey, that's not going to work either, and then they revert back to what they think is going to work. But I mean, that's a psychological game that I don't think you're going to win in the long run. But I don't know.
I think it's important for them to get out to a lead so Penn State can't rely on the running game as much, and B, the other thing is again, this is simple stuff. This is where it's not as big on what you call on defense, but just winning your battles. So if your defensive linemen are beating their guys up front and getting into the backfield,
which I think they will.
Right. If they're doing that, you're in a lot better shape. Then you don't need to bring everyone on an all-out blitz if you're making the running back make moves in the backfield. If point of first contact is at or behind the line of scrimmage, you're going to be in good shape. Even if he makes you miss or breaks tackles, you're still going to be in good shape.
Right. Okay. Noted. I'll keep that in mind. I'll let Urban know when we talk this week. We have a talk. It's nice. Other big games, so we don't have to talk about this the whole time. Oklahoma State and West Virginia. I mean, still kind of relevant.
Sure.
Relevant for the Big 12 at least.
Is it?
Yeah. Oklahoma State could still go. I mean, isn't that pretty much going to be decided by Oklahoma State, Oklahoma?
No, it'll be TCU.
Oh, yeah.
TCU, Iowa State's more of a...
Oh, yeah.
They're another...
Iowa State's ranked.
Yeah, good for them.
That's adorable.
No, honestly though, they've been hungry for a long time, and they've always
they have
been
all that corn.
On the last couple of years, they've been kind of on the cusp.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I expected them to come through with a big win. I didn't expect it to be against Oklahoma.
Oh, sorry.
But
my brace.
I mean, they're.
I didn't expect them to beat Oklahoma either. I feel like they always
no one in the country expected that to happen.
Pull within 3 of some big team, but never actually win.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
North Carolina State, Notre Dame. I guess we'll actually get to see how good Notre Dame is, which is neat.
Because they haven't. They played Georgia. Georgia was a good close game. Other than that, I mean, Michigan State could have said to have been half decent. I mean, they weren't ranked at the time, but I mean,
yeah, they've gotten better.
They've gotten better, and not a whole lot's changed otherwise. So.
Let's see, who else? Pac-12 can piss off because they've gone back to irrelevance, thank God. But, okay, so one other thing, Kev, you texted me, or texted, in our group chat during the weekend, Mac Brown basically saying that, no one in the big, basically downplaying how good the Big Ten is because the level of competition.
Yeah, he was. He made a comment about Wisconsin not having a challenge in the rest of their schedule until Michigan, and then of course Michigan just shit the bed. So, and that comment was made before they got the pants beat off of them. So, but his primary comment was talking about the divisional system, and how he doesn't believe in the divisional system because you have these teams that, that don't play each other, and certain teams don't have. They don't have any competition, and I couldn't help but remark well, what about the SEC East for the last 2 years, when
garbage.
Florida has consistently been the best team coming out of that, and then proceeds to get just absolutely wiped in the championship, in their conference championship.
Right.
So it's like, why are you going to talk shit about the Big Ten and not acknowledge anybody else? Like, the division system works fine. Like, teams have ups and downs.
It's necessary.
Yeah. Like, come on. I mean, Nebraska's had some great years. Iowa's had some good years. You know? I mean, it's not...
right.
You know, hell, fuck, even... you know, Minnesota's not always a terrible team. You know?
Right.
So...
Like, you could take a snapshot of any conference at any time and say the same exact thing.
Yeah. And I don't...
Like... Go ahead.
No, I don't know if he's trying to make a play for the
Big 12
the Big
because
12
it's all
system,
one.
the round robin concept, which I know we talked about last year, or was that 2 years ago? How long have we been doing this?
I think so.
How
yeah.
long have you guys been doing this?
A while.
But yeah, I mean that's got its problems too, because all it takes is TCU to lose one game to one of the other teams, and you've got a tie again.
Right. I agree. I don't think there's a perfect system, but I do prefer the divisional system. I just think with the Big Ten, it's hard because a lot of these teams that weren't necessarily that good, like Michigan was in a pretty bad slump. Michigan State was just starting to get good. Penn State was bad. You know, now all of a sudden you have a really, really top-heavy Big Ten East, and the Big Ten West definitely is weaker. But that being said, Iowa's normally a good football team. Nebraska is normally a better football team. Wisconsin is probably always going to be good as long as Paul Chryst decides to stay there. And you would think the Gophers will get better. So I agree. I prefer the divisional part, especially for the Big Ten. But yeah, I agree.
I
Go
agree
ahead.
too, but I can definitely see where he's coming from in this particular instance because, I mean, I'm a Wisconsin fan, so like I'm biased that way. But even I'm kind of like, well, I'm not sure how good we actually are, just because like we could very easily go in undefeated to the Big Ten championship game and not really know how good they are. You know, I completely get that.
And what's wrong with that?
No, that's a good counter argument there. Like, they still have
because
to
you have a conference
right.
championship because
Right.
you get to go. Wisconsin's going to get to go play. You know, it's either Penn State or Ohio State. You're going to get to go play one of them, and then one of those two teams is going to win and going to go on to the national championship. Going to go
One would think
the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, that's just I mean, I think it's pretty much guaranteed.
Same thing
Yeah.
with the SEC. Like, it's the SEC West is garbage, or is it East or West? East is
Yeah, the East
garbage.
sucks. The West is like
but like they're gonna have to beat Alabama if they want to, or at least hang with Alabama.
No, and then great. Georgia looks like a decent team. They're ranked number three, four.
Yeah.
But again, who have they played? They beat Notre Dame.
No, I think you're right. I think it's number 3.
They beat a ranked at the time Mississippi State. But
who then flamed out big time.
Yeah, so they beat Mizzou, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Appalachia State, I think that is, and then I think Samford. Like,
that's a lot.
Congratulations. And who?
Yeah. That's so much meth. There's a lot of meth going on there.
So we're not going to get to see if Georgia's worth their salt until they play Auburn.
Right.
So, I mean, they're in the same boat.
Yep. I agree. All right, well, that's pretty much it for college football. I think we've exhausted the topics. So now, NFL. Stories moving forward. What's going to happen? Chappers.
Browns, I hate to do this. I said I wasn't going to do this. But, number one, you lost in the most Browns fucking way possible last week. In 12-9, like, slow-burning dumpster fire, like, smoldering. Not even, like, a raging inferno, like a smoldering, like, tire fire.
Right.
And
Right.
It was your best chance to win. Is in the factory of sadness. Tennessee Titans are coming to town. Marcus Mariota can't run because he's like banged up his hamstrings. And, Mariota's a good quarterback normally, but if he can't move, he's an average passer at best. And you blew it. You had the ball twice in overtime, and you didn't do anything with it. All you needed to do was score. You couldn't do it. And it turns out now that Joe Thomas, the one consistency you've had on your entire team, has torn his triceps, which you have to apparently be really fucking strong to do.
Not surprising.
Now he's done for the year. So the one guy who never missed a single snap in the last 8 years he's played, over 10,000 straight snaps, is now really done for the year. And so they're royally fucked. And so we're starting a week early the Browns 0-16 watch. So now, what are we on to now?
Yes.
Who are they playing next?
The Vikings in London, silly.
Yeah, so they're traveling overseas to play the Vikings, and they have absolutely no chance of winning that game. And so,
I agree.
They'll be able to show England.
Hey, ESPN's Power Index has the Browns with a 16.1% chance of winning.
That's
okay,
generous.
There's a chance. Okay.
There's more of a chance of them moving to London than there is of them winning.
Just settling.
Just not coming back.
Like, we live here now.
I mean, yeah, basically.
I don't think the Queen would have them.
Hey, the Thames didn't start on fire. We got a new home.
Hey, the Thames didn't start on fire. Yeah, I would agree. They just had to do what the Browns do, which is fucking make it to overtime and then lose. And did you see how packed the stadium was, though? Still, when they made it to overtime, it was like they made it to the fucking Super Bowl. That place was going insane.
Almost.
Like, the volume was on at my house, and my dad was in the kitchen like, did they win? And I said, no, they just didn't lose. They made it to overtime. They haven't lost yet.
See what would have happened if they would have tied that game. And they'd have the opportunity to go 15-1. That would have been very Browns-like. Especially if then the 49ers went 0-16 and they didn't even get the first draft pick.
Oh my God.
I'm advocating for the Cubs rule or the Cubs theory that go for the worst. That's a record too,
Yeah. And when you win, it's the sweetest thing in the entire world.
Yeah, just run those losses up. Figure out what's the worst NFL record. What's the longest losing streak? Get that +1, and then actually start to try.
I mean, if you tab the Browns as far as the old franchise into the new franchise, I don't know what the numbers are, but I don't think you can view it like that.
I mean, they won one game last year, so their two-year record right now is looking pretty fucking bad. That's got to be some kind of record if they keep losing. So, I mean, they wouldn't be the first to go in 16 if they did it, but the other thing adding to the misery is they had traded their draft rights to Carson Wentz, and they got quite a bit for it, but now Cleveland fans have to be thinking about watching how miserable their quarterback situation is, and then thinking about watching Carson Wentz throw 4 touchdown passes every week. That's got to be kind of rough.
All right.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions 2008, the most losses in a single season, was the first non-expansion team to lose every game in a full season since World War II.
Yeah,
oh
they're
my
the only
God.
team to go 0-16 But I think the Browns could win out them if they went 0-16 because they went 1-15 last year. So that would be quite an accomplishment to go. To go 1-31 in 2 seasons. That would be incredible. Also, 49ers, I'm not sleeping on you yet. Like, your 0-16 watch hasn't commenced, but like, I swear to God, I'm not forgetting about you.
I feel like their division is a little bit...
Yeah, the Cardinals fucking blow, and Carson
maybe not.
Palmer is out for at least 8 weeks. So
broke, yeah. Well, he's done for the rest of his life, I hope.
So
he needs to hang it up.
And they don't have David Johnson, obviously, so if they have the Cardinals again on their schedule, that's a winnable game for them, I think. The Browns already lost their best chance because they lost to the Colts earlier this year, right? That was even.
Yeah, they lost to the Colts.
That was
one of our dumpster fires of the week.
Best opportunity because the Colts fucking blow.
Right. Yeah, they're not good. They were an easy... That's... Wait till you hear the dumpster fire of the week that I picked. I'll see if you agree with me. What else? Other than the Browns just sucking... What else is going on in the NFL?
A high level of competition.
The Eagles are good.
It's...
Yeah. A lot of teams whose records I don't think reflect how close, they've... Right. How good they actually might be.
Other than the
or
Eagles,
how bad they
every team has 2 losses through 7 weeks. And then I think every other team besides the Browns and the 49ers have at least 2 wins. So the level of competition, save for, and I'm sure the Eagles are for real, but I don't see them as, I don't see them as
it's a lot to maintain.
Shit out of me yet because they do have a second-year quarterback. They've just gotten some pretty tough injuries. Then they were relatively healthy prior to that. So I'm not putting them, in the Super Bowl yet. And I really think the only 2 constants in the NFL so far are that the Browns and 49ers are awful. And other than that, everything is just a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else
you never know.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, the AFC East is up for grabs for the first time in how many years? Granted, the Patriots are going to win the division, but still, through whatever it is.
I didn't think I was gonna say anytime soon.
Yeah.
The Jets don't look nearly as terrible as they thought. Yeah, they thought.
They don't look bad. They don't look.
People thought they were going to try to lose almost every game.
Right.
And they've been competitive in basically every game they've played.
The Jacksonville Jaguars
they look for
are
real,
tied
and that division is garbage.
Lead.
They actually could win.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? I'm just scrolling through here. AFC North, obviously the Steelers in control. They'll all kill each other. The NFC South is fucking awful, and that's a complete crapshoot. The Carolina Panthers, I don't know what the fuck they are.
Carolina Panthers. I mean, they I don't get it.
As much of a head case as Cam Newton is, I feel like he perfectly sums up that football team. They don't know what the fuck they are. Yeah, who are in the Falcons are 3-3? What the hell?
They were 4-1 prior to playing the Bears, and what did they just go and score 3 points against the Bears? That's fucking weird. And they gave up 2 defensive touchdowns to the Bears. So their offense literally lost to the Bears defense 14-3. Trubisky threw the ball 7 times and they won by double digits. What fucking planet are we on? 7 times.
And
they ran 31 plays. Their offense ran 31 plays in the entire game, and they won by double digits.
Oh my god. Fuck. And the Los Angeles Rams are leading the NFC
NFC West leading Los Angeles Rams. things I would not think I was going to hear this year.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Has their attendance got any better?
Probably.
I don't know.
Think so. Yeah, I would think
Probably
so.
not.
They're in better shape than
maybe.
the Chargers. No one gives a fuck about the Chargers. Even when the Chargers were like good, people still didn't. No one cares about the Chargers. They just need to they need to reassess whatever's going on there. It's just like the most likable franchise. Like you can't.
We need to find a city that deserves a team. I don't care about if they can ever make money. Like find a shitty city somewhere that deserves a team.
They're way better fans than
You're not wrong.
Southeast.
I mean,
Southwest
like,
sombreros.
Could we get a team in Tijuana? Get real weird. Build a stadium in Tijuana.
Call them the Burrows.
Fuck it, just put it in Juarez.
That'd be sweet. Yeah. The Giants are so
Giants
bad.
Are
they suck.
Eli Manning's just not good at football. I know he won 2 Super Bowls, but I really feel like he just happened to get hot at the exact right time and played on teams with great defenses. I really don't think he's good at football.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
does
probably in his prime he was the definition of mediocre, and now as he's a little bit older, he's just terrible.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, I know what else I wanted to talk about. The Sendejo hit. I don't get it. He got suspended for a game.
Yeah, I didn't see it, man. Sorry.
I don't know. You.
The violation was flagrant and warrants a suspension because it could have been avoided. Whatever. Basically, he was coming across the field. Mike Wallace was getting wrapped up, and then he tried to hit him and led. But I've seen worse. But they suspended him. Do you think Martavis Bryant's going to get traded? That's the other thing, and then we'll move to selections. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. I hate that division. That division is just full of pieces of shit. God. Fuck.
Tell us how you really feel.
I don't like that division just pisses me off. There's so many buttholes in that division. They're all pricks.
He says about the division with 2 style teams.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. Although Cincinnati basically may as well be part of Kentucky as far as I'm concerned. Oh, man. Yeah, but none of the real big pieces of shit except for Josh Gordon are on the Browns.
I wonder if Josh Gordon's ever going to get reinstated.
All right. Moving on to... yeah, and then the Browns are going to go 1-15.
He's going to come back to save their franchise and get them 1 win.
He's not the hero that we deserve, but he's the hero that we need. You know? It's going to be one of those kind of moments. It's going to be like a kick return for a touchdown. He's just going to go, put me back there, coach. At that point, the coach will be basically like a water cooler with a headset on. Hugh Jackson will have stopped showing up. Okay, so picks for the week. We're going to do college game of the week, dumpster fire, college game of the week, NFL dumpster fire of the week, and then I don't have an NFL game of the week yet because, kind of like Chapper said, I don't know what the fuck the game of the week is going to be, so we need to pick one. And then we're going to pick Martinsville only because it's Martinsville. If it wasn't Martinsville, I wouldn't do a NASCAR pick. But Martinsville's great.
Okay.
I'm going to wait till Chappers picks an NFL game.
Just pick the game that has the cheapest tickets on. Ticket stub.
Oh, I know what that is because I picked it for the dumpster fire.
No. Wait.
That, like, I didn't even need to look. It was the third game I saw, and I said, yep, I don't even need to look any further. That's the dumpster fire of the week.
Detroit. Yeah, I think that's going to be the most...
The Detroit? Okay, that was one of my, like, top 3. Okay. So, the NCAA game of the week is obviously Ohio State versus Penn State because I got to run the show, and that's what I picked. Mumquist, as our guest, I'm letting you go first.
Promise we can still be friends?
That's fine. You can pick Penn State. That's
Penn
not
State.
a bad pick. That's fair.
I think it's also best for the Big Ten.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Here's the thing, because if Penn State goes and loses, like, at the doesn't show up to the championship, like, that sucks. But like, it's okay. If Ohio State makes it into the top 4 again, and then just shits the bed, like, there's no coming back from that ever. Like, no one will ever take the conference seriously again. And also, there's something to be said for the fact that even if Ohio State wins the Big Ten, that loss, even though it's to Oklahoma, like, may keep them out. And because, again, they shot the bed last year. So
I think it would. Normally, I would agree with you. But I think because the Pac-12 has done us a huge favor and really, really sucked, and unless Notre Dame, like, shows up, if Ohio State wins the Big Ten, I think whoever wins the Big Ten has to go. I shouldn't even say just Ohio State. Like, Penn State, obviously, if they go undefeated. But I'm saying whoever wins the Big Ten has to go because all of the other conferences have not done enough to show that they get in over us.
And they're already in the top 10.
Well, and the most quality win of them all, which is if we get to go to Ann Arbor and beat those fucking pieces of shit.
No. Yeah.
I know. I was talking about that because that's
not going to be a hard game for you. I think that'll be an easy one.
I don't know, man. It's always a crapshoot.
Yeah.
You
It's
never
like
know.
peak
But
anxiety
yeah,
here.
that's fair. Okay, Chappers.
I'm gonna go with Penn State. And I'm not that confident about it.
That's
So,
fair.
like, it's
I don't
not
think
like
that's a
I'm
bad pick.
brazenly whipping my dick out on the table and saying Penn State here, but like
I get it.
they look pretty dangerous.